Hey guys, good afternoon, everybody. This is a private mentoring session with Art. So we're going to be covering the micro scout strategy. And I'm going to finish setting this up and then we're going to get started shortly. Let me get this sent out to Art real quick. Hey Art, can you hear me?
Yep, that I got
you. How's it going?
Oh man, pretty good.
Good to see you, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, man, that I got gray hair now.
You got gray hair now? Oh man, you've been busy, huh?
Yeah, grinding. Uh, I was trying to come up. Uh, what I was trying to do is take advantage of the micro scalp. I love it. It's almost like the pullback momentum that Mr. Barack does, but this one is more of a smaller scalp.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
So, and I know that you can't do anymore, but I'm trying to find out, how did you build up so many? Was it the micro scalp or was it your normal trades? And just trying to find out, as you already stated, it's able for me to do with 5 accounts, and I'm gonna be on a web-based platform, which is Top Step, but I'm trying to make sure that if I can do it manually, and if you could give me some settings on some predetermined stop losses and take profits so that it don't get behind me, and if I supposed to wait about 30 minutes uh after the market does open so things can slow down a little bit.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm gonna get these requirements up here real quick because I haven't done it in a while, but it's pretty simple and straightforward. But like you said, it's one of those strategies that it's really useful because it goes by pretty quick. Like you get in, get out, and typically you're supposed to use a trailing stop. Do you know how to use that, or have you not used that before?
Yeah. So do you think I need to have a take profit wide enough, or do you think sometimes I can just close it with the manual part of it?
You can close it manually. It's kind of up to you. Like if you're paying attention and you're able to just get in and out of it and you don't get greedy, then you can do it manually. Like once you see some profit, you can always just close out of it. Like when you're happy with what you see. But it's really going to depend because the thing that I noticed with this strategy, not just with me, but with a lot of other people, is that greed comes into play because you've seen it before, and this strategy comes up quick. So it's like if you have a goal of hitting like 1 or 2 entries, it could be okay. But if you start to get greedy and you want to go for like 10, 20 entries, then it could be a lot more tricky because in a situation like that, if you're closing it manually, you're not going to have that guarantee in place. For me, I'm usually using a trailing. So, and let me see if I could like show you an example here. Because in this type of market right now, I think this is probably the best market to use this type of strategy. Um, because like it just keeps going, right? Like for example, we have a buy momentum like right here. And you can see that when you do take these micro scalps, I mean you can get out anywhere really. And it usually pushes for a while. So, back to your question. So let's start off with your first question. If I think you can do this with, with multiple accounts, I think you can. It's just not all accounts are going to be, they're not all going to be equal, right? Because you're going to have some that are going to be making more profit than others, mainly your main account, and the other ones might have some slippage, but it kind of just depends on like the type of market that you're trading in. Like if you're trading in a market that's very volatile and directional like this, then you're probably going to make more profit even if there's slippage. But if you get a market where it's kind of going sideways, like this here earlier, then this is where you're gonna get chopped up and you're gonna be caught up with like a bunch of fees. So I mean, short answer to your question is yes, you can. Like I could still do it with my 20 Apex accounts. I just can't do it with the hedge accounts because the thing is when I'm trading real money, that's a lot of money that's involved versus like with the prop firm, I can blow a prop firm account, wouldn't be a big deal. Just start over and start a new account. But when I'm trading people with real money, it just wouldn't work because you can't just reset, right? You blow all the money, blow all the money.
Okay, so I guess what I'm trying to ask is with the 50K, with 2K worth of the damage that I can take before they take the count, what's the recommended that are we going with a higher contract size for a small move? So just to achieve the $200 per day, or are we still going with a micro possibly? And I'm thinking
So
that we're not supposed to do it all day. We're supposed to just get it. And the other question is with the consolidation part of it, do we wait till we start finding some higher highs and some lower lows before we start actually utilize? Because I still don't know what sessions are too. Because you said that we're not supposed to trade during the sessions or close to sessions.
yeah. So I wouldn't do the strategy like in the afternoon. You probably would have to do it like in the morning. So like right when the market opens. So like for example, I mean you can pretty much trade all throughout the morning. There's just going to be certain windows where you can make more profit than others. So like for example, let's see. So market opens like right here at 6:30. I'll put like a black line right there so you can kind of see. So between 6:30 and 8 is a good time to trade it because you'll see here there's a lot of volatility. Um, and then like around 9 o'clock. So there's gonna be little windows for you to trade. So we'll say about like 6:30 to 8, 9 until about 10. And I'll show you where the market starts to get a little choppy. And then maybe around like I'd say let's say maybe around like closer to 11. There's just gonna be little pockets of like trading windows where the market will be more volatile than not. So I would probably go maybe 10:30 until like 11:30. But it just depends. It depends on your trading time. If you, I would recommend just sticking to like one window of trading because it's going to be hard for you to stay focused taking this entry because they're going to come up so often that like you're not going to be able to really adapt with the market. So we'll just use the market open for like for example here because this is probably gonna be the easiest since this is what I trade. You probably want to trade around this time because you can see how the volatility is really high, right? So like for example, here we got a buy signal and see how like price really moves a lot right here between the signals. What you want to see is you want to see a lot of movement between signals. So like from signal to signal, you want to see some type of movement. You want it to be where like there's a buy signal and then there's a sell signal right after it. Like for example, right here is not a good. This is usually not a good sign. You don't want to trade when this is happening. You want to trade when there's like a little gap. Like for example, right here, there's a buy signal, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So about 17 candles pass right here. So this gives you 17 opportunities to get into the entry, right? You could miss a couple entries here, but like at some point, you're going to be trying to reach that. You're going to take like one trade within this area, which is what I'm trying to say. And then again, for example, here, you get a sell signal, but you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 opportunities before the next momentum comes up. And you'll probably be able to get an entry around that time as well, right? So you don't want something where it's like buy signal, sell signal, buy signal, sell signal, because if that's the case, then you're not going to have very many opportunities to take a trade. So over here, you can see there's a lot of opportunities because there's a lot of big gaps in between. You're just looking for like basically one entry per momentum. So one entry right here, one entry right here, one entry right there, one entry right here. There's not going to be any entries here. Probably one right here, another one right there, another one right there, another one right there. So if you look within this area, you have basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 opportunities for entry right here. Are is this making sense to you? Like between 6:30 and 8 o'clock?
Yep, yep, it make perfect sense.
Yeah. So this is good because you want the market to be moving. And then again, right here, like I said, you probably don't want to trade between 8 and like 9. You're gonna have momentum signals, but like you're not gonna have as many opportunities. Like for example, right here, there's not gonna be any buy entries that really come up. There might be one right here, but this is a really tight move. This is like 8 points. So this is where it becomes important that you have some sort of trailing stop, or if you're able to close out, because you want to get out within like a few points, like maybe about like, or you can just have a set, like if you don't want to use a trailing stop and you just want to be in and out of those positions quickly, like let's just do the math right here. If you're gonna do like a 50K count, you said a 50K count, right?
Yep.
Okay, so 50K count, I think your drawdown is, I can probably just pull it up. Let's see. Your drawdown is gonna be,
Well, this is gonna be top step, so it's only gonna be 2K, but
okay,
but
gotcha.
but I think with Apex it's probably gonna be 25.
25, yeah. Okay, so in a situation like that, you'll have 2K drawdown. Probably want about like 3 opportunities before you blow it, or we'll probably put 4 just to be a little safe. So this is how much you want to risk per trade, 500. So if you're doing one contract, yeah, basically one contract right there. And I mean, it just kind of depends on like how much you're aiming for. So for example, let's see, if you were to do it right here, like if you were to do the trades, if you were running the micro scalp strategy today, there's about 8 opportunities here to take your trade. So like doing the math, 1 times 5, times, we'll say like 5 points, right? We'll keep it kind of tight. So 25 times 8. What was your goal for your profit per day? All right, if you want to make 200, you said, right?
Yep.
Okay, so 200, you need about 8 trades for the day. I mean, that's kind of a lot of trades, um, but I mean it's doable. So, like for example, today, I mean, you'd hit 8 trades on this morning, but I wouldn't say you have that many opportunities every day because usually we don't have like this many momentum signals that come up, within an hour and a half period. So I would say on average, maybe like 5 to 8 trades. So you might not hit your 800 your $200 goal every day, but you'll get close to it. So let me see. If you were to have 5 trades, let's do 25 times 5. So you'd be pretty close to it. I mean, you'd probably make around like a 125 to 200 if, like, say for example, you had like a really good day, and you're just you're hitting these entries, through the park pretty easily. Um, and that's only going for five points. Again, if you want to go for something a little bigger, I think that might be a little more ideal for you. I think if you go for about 10 points, you can probably start to make a little more. Let's do the math real quick. 1 times 5 times 10. So 50 times 8 entries, that'll get you about 400. Because I'm gonna try to see some entries here. So for example, you got the buy signal here. So you got the buy
And
signal here.
is it with the first candle right after the buy that we're not supposed to take that one, right?
Yeah, you gotta wait for the first candle to close, and then after that one closes, that's where you're gonna start taking your entries. So right now the market is really volatile. So like, I mean, the odds of you hitting this are super likely. Like you can probably go for more than, because typically we go for like maybe like 10 or 20 points, which you could do, but I mean, I guess to be on the safer side of things. Yeah, so for example here, you take any entry here. I mean, kind of just like I'm looking over here to see if there's any losses that actually come up, because I don't think there is any losses, but if you were to go for like 10 points, Like this, and this is only if you're going for the exact 10 points and you're not using a trailing stop. This is why I would prefer to use a trailing stop, because see how price pushes up right here? If you were just going for that 10 points, you would get out right here. Like you barely lock in the move. But if you had a trailing stop, you might have gotten out like somewhere up here, 30 points, 40 points. So I don't know if, are you just not able to use a trailing stop, or you just feel like you want to be closing it out manually? Because
With the Ninja, that it has an ATM where you can, as soon as the trade is, um, that as soon as whether it's a pending order or whatever it is, as soon as the trade is executed, the trailing stop runs. But for some reason, Top Step, you have to, after the trade, you have to tell it to trail. So it's all about how fast I can do it. So
yeah.
I'll be naked, and when I say naked, I'll be naked with my eyes because I'll be looking at the stop. So
Mhm.
at the price versus just looking at whether to close if I see enough money. So because we
Yeah.
can't look at one screen and then we can't look at the next thing at the same time. So
Mhm.
that's what I mean by me
Yeah.
not being able to see two things at one time.
Okay, I get what you're saying 100%. So like I think there's a couple different ways to do it. I think so I think for in your situation, it's either better to have just a set TP, or I think when you trade with Top Steps, I used to trade with them before. What you can do is you could have like your position running, and then when you have your position running, what you can do is you can drag your stop loss and profit. I'm sure you could do that, right? Or have you tried it? Because like usually like what
No.
I heard is like as soon as you enter the position, like I'll just put a line right here. So say for example, you had your entry right there, right? But what I remember from Top Step is that once you're in the position and price pushes up, you can just drag this line up, and then that'll be your stop loss. I'm not sure if you tried that before, but I think that's probably gonna be your best option. Because like for example, if this thing spiked up, then you can just manually move your stop loss up, and then from there, if it pulls back, you get stopped out and you make, this much profit. So I mean,
So it's better to have a trailing stop loss, but don't I have to calibrate it on how far it's supposed to trail without it? Because Top Step is so basic, because I'm using a web-based version. I know, but with the Ninja, you can say every 4 or 5 ticks, I want you to move up this, and it's that it gets very technical. Do you have the numbers for the whether it's the Trader 5, whether it's Apex? Do you have the numbers that I'm supposed to put in? So I can just, because now I do have a Trader 5 and I do have some other accounts that uses the Ninja. So that if I can get the numbers so I don't trail it too close, and the ones that you had success with.
yeah. If you're using NinjaTrader, I can give you the numbers for the trailing stop. That's probably gonna be your best option, because that's like, you don't have to think. Like once you're in the position, it's gonna move up for you, and then it'll close out for you as well. I prefer to do it that way because it takes away the emotion, because if you're doing it manually, there's gonna be some trades where you do move your stop loss and profit. There's gonna be some days where you don't. And sometimes you might just be too slow to move your stop loss and profit. So if you're able to set the settings up for NinjaTrader where there's a trailing stop, then all you have to do is really get in the position. But once you're in that position, it pretty much does everything for you. So yeah, I mean, best case scenario, you should probably use the trailing stop if you can. If you can, you can still do it manually, but it's still gonna be difficult. Like for example, for the entry right here, your entry would have happened on this candle, and this candle moved pretty fast. So it would have like basically filled and then went straight up. And then same with this one over here for the sell signal, the entry would have filled on this candle right here actually. So this thing came down pretty heavy too. So this is why it's better to use a trailing stop, because like if you have a fixed stop, you'll get out like at maybe 10 points, 20 points, something like that. But if you have your trailing stop, you could probably catch the bigger move, because this thing looks like it probably came down really hard and then it came back up like right here. So you probably lock in like 40 points right there. So I mean, if we do the math right here, so if you were to get 40 points with one contract, and then this is just one trade, so like 1 times 5 times 40. So you already be at your goal. All right, you see that? So like instead of just locking in like a couple like 10, 20, $100, you'd be locking like the full 200 already, and you wouldn't have to go for 8 entries. You'd probably just go for like one or two, and then you'll be out and done with the market. So yeah, I think if you can do that, if you can just set up a trailing stop, I think that would be better because you hit your goal a lot easier and a lot faster versus having to take a whole like 8 trades here. Because if you did 8 trades, like I said, you're probably not going to get 8 trades every day, but when you do, you're gonna have to be pretty on point with getting in and out of those positions. Because obviously, I'd rather go for if you're using this specific strategy, you want to go for that the full candle. Like this candle here is like 67 points. You probably would have locked in maybe a portion of that, 30 or 40 of the points, versus if you just had one set TP, you probably could have like 10, 20 points, which is like a small little portion of that.
With the ninja, is there a certain setting that tells how far it poses trail and once it goes in the profit, or is there any settings that you know of that you can send me? So I can just drop them off in there, or maybe you said it because I'm at work now and I'm dealing with something, but I'm trying to see that I can just duplicate whatever setting. Because prior to this, I did see how on the 1 minute and even some of the 30-second, whichever way that candle broke the high or the low of the previous candle, it's very rare that it came back to pierce the adjacent side of that candle. So it always pick a side and you have a chance to snatch some money. But I wasn't never, I would say, fast enough, or I didn't have the momentum indicator to tell me when to do it. So I'm understanding that maybe it's a combination of 1, 5, and the 15 when they all get a line. When that pullback happens, when it breaks the direction of the momentum indicator, that's a sign where I can snatch some money out. But me doing it naked with my hands, I wouldn't know when to take the message. I mean, when to take the profit or when to, so I could be messing over myself, or I could miss it totally and it come back against me and I take a big loss. So
Exactly, yeah, exactly. So you want to, that's why the trailing stop is important. And I think it's required for this type of strategy. Because the thing is, your main goal for this is just to get in the position, right? Because once you have that trailing stop, it's going to pull you out when time comes. But when you're doing it by hand or naked, like you said, there's like so many opportunities where you're going to miss it. You might get into the position, it'll be too late, and then it'll be back in negative by then. And instead of locking in some profit, you might be catching a loss on that trade. So yeah, I just sent you the settings on Discord right here in the chat. So if you pull this up, you can pull it up a little later. You don't have to pull it up right now. The way that these settings are set up is, and these aren't the actual settings for like for the I'll have to tell you exactly what settings to put in because your contracts are going to be at 1. Your stop loss is going to be at you basically have your TP and your stop loss set to 100, and then your trailing stop is where you're going to have this kind of setup. Let me see if I can get the other one on here too.
and if I'm understanding, I was like 100, but now I see that if I get a quick move, you would need enough room for the trailing stop loss to actually help you. So yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense
yeah.
because yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So like when you're using it, you're setting the TP stop loss to 100, but you're not really going to aim for the full 100. A lot of times you're just going to go for, whatever your trailing stop pulls you out at, which will probably be like, around 50 or somewhere around there, 20, 50, 30. It just depends on how big that candle is that fills your order. So, I can tell you what settings to put here. I don't have a screenshot of it, but, here, let me see. I'm gonna put a little note here.
But if you will, if it's possible, you've been staring at this PC a lot longer than me, and you got a lot of previous knowledge. Since I'm on the top step and I'll be naked again because I can't look at two things at one time. If you had to put a stop loss to give enough room without the order losing itself, or it's stopping me out real quick, because I noticed if you use a high leverage, it'll almost take you out real quick. So especially during the early parts of the morning. So if I had to, I mean, I was a professional John Madden game player back in the day, but I'm not that quick no more. But if there was a certain amount of cushion with a one contract with a, what would you say? How much room would I need to get it? You know, so at least I have a chance for the momentum to uh to give me something.
Yeah, so what I would do is you would use the auto trail setting right here, the middle one. You would put it to one step, and then I'm trying to see if I can find a. I know I had a screenshot here somewhere. I just can't find it where the or
And
I
it,
mean,
maybe Top Step do have it where as soon as I place the order, the pending order, but I watched the video and maybe I can go to Sim and I just practice with it and
yeah,
see if
yeah,
I get it to
yeah.
do.
If you could do it with like a demo account or something just to play around with to get the settings down. I don't think they have a trailing stop for for Top Step. I mean, from what I remembered, I don't think they have a trailing stop. They have an ATM, but like you said, you got to do that manually, and it's not. I mean, you could do it, but I wouldn't really recommend it because it could be the difference between like, forgetting to move your stop loss and profit, or getting out of the position. But yeah,
And and then what I noticed, you get kind of mesmerized because you be hoping it goes give you more, and then you trying to hold it so it can give you profit if you're negative, and you get mesmerized, and then it'll tear you up. So yeah, I do understand of that trade.
yeah, yeah, exactly. That's the worst part because, like I said, like not every trade is going to be the same if you don't have a trailing stop. Because you don't have anything really pulling you out of the position. You're going to have to be the one in control to pull yourself out. I'm trying to find a screenshot of it here, but basically, it's the same settings that I showed you. It's just you're using the trailing instead of the. I know I posted it on here before. It's been a while. Here, let me see. I'll open my laptop real quick, and then I'll just take a screenshot of like the settings that you would put. Um,
And then if that'll take too long, because I know you're busy, that if you got to then you can just send it to me, and then I'll
here
go
we go.
put in.
Yeah, thanks. One of the guys, Siobhan, he just sent me it right now. Thanks, Siobhan. Yeah, so I just sent it to you right now on the in the chat. And let me see, I'll just pull it up right here now. Okay, so yeah, basically what you would do is you would set your TP stop loss to 100, and then right here, you would go to your auto trail, set this to one step. You have your stop loss set to one, and then you'd have your profit trigger set to, I'd leave it at 10 probably. 10 is probably a good number, and then have your frequency to one. So when you have these settings right here, setup arc in your NinjaTrader, what's going to happen is so say for example you got into the position right here, right? This was like the one that came up this morning. So okay, this is a 100-point move. You're probably not going to lock in the 100-point move, but what's going to happen here is when you enter this position, you're going to have your trailing stop like just hanging out right here, or not you're going to have your pending order waiting right here to fill it. As soon as price pushes up and fills it, you're going to be in the position. And right here, basically, once price reaches 10 points, and it's going to be pretty tight. It's going to be right here, 10 points. Once it reaches this black line right here, then that's when the trailing stop it activates. So once it activates, every time this moves up by 1 point, your stop loss is going to move up in profit with it. So it's going to start at 10, and it's going to move up to 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, etc. And then once it pulls back, like say, for example, it reaches the top here, and this next candle over here pulls back, you're going to get pulled out in profit right there, 65. So you're basically going to guarantee 10 points, but as it moves up higher, like if it spikes up, your trailing stop will follow it all the way up. And then as soon as it pulls down, that's where you're going to get pulled out. So instead of locking in 10 points, you lock in like maybe 60 points here. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. I got one last question. If it starts out at 100 until it gets to the 10, if it just pierces just to get me in and turns around at 3 points, do that mean I should manually go up on my close button just to close it because it never got enough points to initiate my trailing stop loss?
Yeah, if it doesn't look like it's moving up, like because you're looking for these big moves, right? So you're looking for like a pretty nice spike. If you don't see a spike like that, and then it's like you see it start to like kind of die down and get and pull back like below your entry, then yeah, you can just hit close or cancel all, and then it'll just close out your position. It'll just take a small loss right there, and then you move on to the next one. So like again, right here, see we got the sell signal, and then your entry would have happened right here, same thing 100, as soon as it reaches, and you'll see like this is a pretty good market to like to play with this because it usually doesn't go in a drawdown. When it pushes, it pushes. So right here, same thing. Once it reaches 10 points, I'll move this up too. So once it reaches the 10 points right there, it's gonna kick in your trailing stop, and then it's probably gonna pull you out like somewhere down here on this 20 mark. Because it looks like what happens here is it fills your order, and then as soon as it fills it, it gets down a little bit and then retraces up like pretty quickly. So this will probably be a smaller move compared to this one. But you can see it doesn't really pull back into the negative, right? It just pulls down and then it shoots right back up a little bit. So it probably stop you out about 10 to 20 points. Same with this one right here. You have a buy signal, price kind of doesn't fill here, and then it fills right here. And you're going to get a lot of these entries that don't give you a lot of points. So again, same thing right here. Your stop loss would have got moving profit at 10. And looking at this over here, looks like it might have pulled up a little bit and then retraced back. So you probably for these two right here, you probably get a little bit of profit. You probably get like maybe 10 points. But you got one like right here that happened in the morning, which you would
I
have lost
mean,
more.
but Sean, I mean, 10 points times $20 is like $20 per point. That's some good money, man.
Exactly, yeah. That's why so like you're looking for the big move. It's not gonna happen all the time. Like you're gonna get a lot of these smaller moves, but they're gonna add up, like you said, 10 points here and there. You're gonna lock in you said you're gonna use one contract times 5 times 10. You lock in a couple like $50 moves right here, like $50, $50, but on this big one over here, that's where you're gonna lock in the big bucks. So lock in like 300 there, $50 there, $50 there, probably a little more on this one. And that's why it's good to trade this in the morning because you'll have a lot of opportunities. Like you lock in a couple smaller moves here, and then you'll have like one big one, and then maybe like another big one a little later in the day. But yeah, like you said, 10 points is good money. I mean, I'm happy with that. You lock in a couple 10 points here and there, and it's gonna add up. So
The final question. I know I lied. I said the other one, but
you're fine.
do you think uh uh a a person, because really this is a mechanical type of strategy. You just got to be fast enough to pin it. But do you think a person, once he gets enough cushion, could make a pretty decent living, or is this more like short term until you get to doing the strategy that you and Mr. Barack is doing, or can a person pretty much uh make decent money just with this one just alone?
I would say for you personally, because I know you're trading stock, because you've been with me on and off for a while. So like for you, I know you like to just be in and out, make that money, and then run with it, right? So I think this strategy you can make pretty good money long term. I mean, at that point, once you have that cushion, you're not going to be at one contract, right? You're probably going to be at like two, three, four, five contracts. So like right here, making the 60 points, you make 300 on one contract. But if, say, for example, you have enough cushion and you're now taking five contracts, right? So 5 times 60, you're now locking in 1,500, right? So you could make a lot of money through this. It's just really, increasing your contract size and like double, tripling, quadrupling your profits off the same move that you would have done with one contract. So yeah, I do think you can make pretty good money on this. And I think this strategy fits you. When you messaged me about it, I knew you were going to like the strategy, and I knew that this would fit you because your attention span is not really there. You don't want to be holding on to the position for like, 5, 10, 20, 30 minutes. You want to just be in and out. And this type of strategy, you're usually in and out within like, within a minute's time. So
Yeah, hell no, that I got the bad anxiety and looking at the thing dance all day. I'd rather just take my money and gone. So I that prior to me calling you, that I figured that this was going to be a high leverage, but I've been watching the candles pick one side of a candle for the longest, and I noticed it's going to give you a chance to take 10 points or 7 points prior to this. So when I seen it, but I said, oh man, that they stopped doing it. So, but I know now because you had so many, that you had so many accounts. So yeah, and you said per momentum single, we only do one and then wait for the next one and do the other. And just
So
that each
yeah,
time.
yeah, you could do more, but I think the safest way to do it is just do once, because like you're gonna get greedy if you take like a whole bunch of entries at once. When I was doing it, I was hitting it like 10 times. Like every time I got an opportunity, I got back into it. But I started to realize that once this turns, I could lose a lot of money if I take a loss on that. So I was like, okay, it's better just like focus on one, take that momentum, and then just keep hitting it, and then adding more size to it instead of just having like 100 entries per day. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take like maybe 3 or 5 entries, but I'm gonna put some size on it so I can multiply it. So instead of just doing one contract, I'll be doing like 5 or 10 contracts. Like when I was doing it at one point, I was doing like 10 contracts. So for me, 10 contracts times five times, we'll say like 30 points, that's already like 1,500. So I hit that a couple of times and I'd be up a pretty good amount. So yeah, like it's just like you said, like once you have that cushion or you have a bigger account, you can start to take bigger contract sizes. And at that point, you can make a real killing, especially if you're just doing this and taking one per momentum. So you could take more per momentum, but for me personally, I would just recommend to take one per momentum, because then that'll keep you from getting greedy. Because you know what happens when you get greedy. You could easily make a mistake, and then that one loss will turn into two losses, and then there goes your account from there.
Yeah, and then just the last thing, there was one of your current people that follow you that he messaged me and he said, "Wasn't you the one that started putting Sean head on top of Michael Jordan and putting your head on top of the president of the United States when we was showing our win?" I said, "Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was before COVID."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was a long time ago. That was COVID time. That was when Aaron was still around. I still talk to Aaron though. Have you talked to Aaron? He's doing his own thing, but he's still trading.
But yeah, this one fits my personality. I just wanted to make sure. And do you got anything else, any little cheat codes, such as having the pending order already there, and then you slide it there? Do you already have it waiting for it, and then as soon as that counter closed, you put it right at the end of the wick, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. So like basically what I do here is I would wait for as soon as this candle, like, say for example, this candle here closed, right? This green one. As soon as this one closes, I would just have my pending limit and I just click it and then it's already there. So as soon as price comes back up, it'll fill my order right away so I don't miss it. So that's how I do it. I would just have a pending buy limit right here. As soon as this candle closes and then as soon as it pushes up like it did right here, then I'm in it and then I'm ready to go right through. And then I have my settings set in place so that when it is active, my trailing stop will just move for me. So the main thing you're focused on is just getting in the position. Once you're in the position, then your trailing stop will do all the work for you.
Okay. And it's not the candle that we're placing it. We're placing it at the end of the wick, right?
Yeah, at the end of the week, because what you're looking for here is you're looking for price to kind of pull back. Like for example, see right here, we got this high point, and then candle pull back right here. So as soon as this closed, what you're looking for is for price to push back past it, which it does right here. And when it does that, you want to catch that momentum as it pushes up higher. So you want to put it at the top of the wick, not at the body, but at the wick. So when it does push up, you'll be able to ride that back up to where it's supposed to go.
And because it's so many times I got a chance to win with that 2K cushion, I should have enough chances, even with four, that I probably should win three out of the four.
Exactly. Yeah. And then, most days you're going to have winning days. So like when you have those winning days, you're going to start to build up a cushion. So like you could have a loss and then you'll have a couple wins that'll recoup the cushion. And then, from there, you usually hit like a win streak. When we were applying this strategy, the win streak was, I mean, we were going like 10, 20, 30 trades without any losses. So like, one loss wouldn't really hurt too much because we already had a bunch of profits added up from before.
Hey, hey, dog. Somewhere I've seen some video where you put on the Excel all the wins and losses. If you can send me that too, so I can use that as my confidence, because you had a lot of green and very few red. But I seen it somewhere. I don't know which video. You got like a million videos on YouTube. So, but you had somewhere where you guys were tracking the wins when y'all was doing the testing. And I just use that and I put it up. So when I'm scared to do a one contract, I won't be scared no more. I can just look at what it did because you already done a number.
Yeah, yeah. If I find it, I'll give it to you. But like you said, yeah, there's a lot of videos. It's I know it's in one of the mentoring sessions. I just don't know exactly which one, but it is in one of these mentoring sessions here. It was probably around that time. If you remember the date when I was applying it, it's probably around that mentoring session time. It might be.
It was around January 25th is when I started seeing it, but you was also doing pullback with Barack.
Okay, the
So
pullback.
that is kind of hard for me to find out where I seen it at.
Yeah, I mean, it might be this one right here. Let me see if I put it in notes. Usually I put in the notes will be covered in this. I didn't put it in this one for some reason. But yeah, I'll look around for it, and then if I do find it, I'll send it over to you. I think it's got to be one of these. Like we had these mastery classes. I'm not sure if you attended those, but yeah, I have a lot of mentoring sessions here. Rate psychology, not this one. Uh, this one's back in December. Yeah, if I find the video arc, I'll send it to you. I just don't know where it is right now. It's got to be one of these mentoring sessions though, because or it might be even the strategy video.
Yeah, that it could be on your website, where all your strategies. I just don't know which one it is.
Yeah, so let me see. I think, yeah, this one doesn't have a spreadsheet, but this one did cover like a lot of the profits that were taken from.
Because that I'm trying not for this strategy to get left out, because you had so many, this one, but as far as a new person coming in, they don't even have to think. They just got to follow the direction.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you're new, it makes it easy because when you have the momentum, you know exactly which way to trade it. So, like, you got the buy momentum, only look for like one or two buys there. If you have a sell momentum, only look for the sell there. I sent you a video. I'm not sure if that's the one you were talking about, but for that one, I think we did cover something. Let me see. I'll pull it over here real quick. So, like, we did cover something right here. Talking about, and this showed like how much profit we made applying that one. That specific strategy.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, this was back in, yeah, a month ago. This is pretty much when you said.
That one you made like 30K or something, 20K.
Yeah, and there was only like a couple of trades we took on this one, I think. We took like, yeah, there was like one, two, three, four trades right there. And it locked in about like 2,000 per account. So it was a pretty good, I mean, it's a good strategy. It's just if you're trading a bunch of accounts like I am, it makes it risky because you'll have one account that closes like 1,000 in profit. You have another account that closes like 100 in profit because of the slippage. But if you're trading, I think like, if you're trading like just one set of accounts, like even 5 accounts, like you said, I think you should be fine. It's just when you start to go past like 20 accounts, that's where it starts to have issues. Because another thing that happened with my Ninja Trader is that I would get errors, and that's what kind of like made me stop doing it. Because it was cool with one account, but if you get an error, then you have to go in and X out of all the accounts so that it'll work. But it's hard when you have like 60 accounts because you got to click that OK button like 60 times before it gets out of the way.
All right, that's it, big dog. And that is that the same dog or is that a new dog?
Oh, this one right here, this Kodi knocked out right there, knocked out in the back. Yeah, same dog. The other one's right here on the other side. He's knocked out on the floor. Kai, but yeah. I don't think you've seen Kodi. Well, you've probably seen Kodi on the lives, but last time we went live before, I didn't have Kodi, so he's kind of new. I had Kodi for about 4 years now. So in the beginning, I didn't have Kodi. I had Kai, but now I got both of them, Kodi and Kai.
All right, man. Thank you, man.
Yeah, no problem, Mark. If you have any other questions, feel free to hit me up. I'm around.